And coming up in part 2 of Real Screaming Kayaks episode 14, we have more hot trout action from Rotoiti. Then we sit down and talk finer points of trout fishing using flies for jigs with Herb Spanigle. Herb also covers techniques for success, plus the finer points of matching the hatch when fishing.
Good first fish, and it's off! Screaming!
This time on New Zealand destination, we head to Rotorua, located in the upper mid-North Island of New Zealand. In part 1 of our New Zealand destination, we went and checked out the trout hatchery, got geared up, and then had a look at some of the fish on offer. The first part of our day started off full of surprises with some personal best fish caught on soft plastics. The morning seemed to offer a hot bite, and we were all enjoying plenty of success. This full-on action certainly gave us a good appetite, and we would take a break for lunch. Let's see whether the hot bite will continue.
Well, we just stopped, came back to shore, had a bit of lunch, and we're out again for this afternoon. It's been a great morning already so far. We've each probably caught, a good 6 to 8 trout each. And we're going to continue on this afternoon. A little bit more wind has kicked in now, as you would expect, but this is a great thing about these pedal kayaks. We can just deal with this kind of conditions, no worries. But yeah, we're going to get back out there. I'm still keen to give these soft baits a good whirl for the rest of the day, so let's see what happens. Just come offshore and I saw some fish on the drop off there. And I thought, I gotta put a soft bait down here. And I got down there, I'm fishing a really light head, and it just got off. But never mind, because the signs are good for the afternoon. I'm gonna drop it straight back down again because, I was fighting that fish for a bit. Unfortunately, I dropped it. That happens. It was fighting pretty hard and it was up at about 7 meters by the looks of the sounder. But yeah, she just got off. Never mind. That's fishing. Signs are good though. Oh, this is great. There's some really awesome fish here. This has got a bit of weight to it. I don't know how big it is. It's really hard to tell, but yeah, I'm like just slowly lifting this fish up. These soft baits are doing the business, these Berkeley power baits, Awesome. But yeah, this guy hasn't really woken up. He's come up though. He's up at about 10 meters and there he goes. He's off. Did a little run. Great fun. Oh yeah. He feels solid, definitely. So we'll see what happens. He's just done a bit of a tear off now. There he goes. Doing a bit of a peel off. Yeah, great. Great stuff. This is awesome, just out the front of where we just launched, So here he is, he's up on the surface. We'll just see if we can get him around the other side of the kayak. So he's he's not that big, but he's, still good fun. Nothing wrong with that. He's got beautiful colours, this fish. Really deep, rich red rainbow trout. So yeah, it's so nice to see them here. And he really swallowed that fish, that soft bait, right in the corner of the mouth. There we go. Yeehaw. Fantastic. Not a big trout, but a feisty little trout. There we go. Yeehaw, and we're going to let this one go now. There he goes. They are full of beans. And I'm loving these Berkeley power baits on these trout. They are just super amounts of fun. Okay, so, you know, we're already getting into them. Damien's got himself a nice one. In fact, he took my lead after getting so much, after seeing me flicking the softies and getting into them, he decided he had to try it himself, and bammo, fish on. That's quite a nice fish you got there, mate. Beautiful colour. It's quite a deep fish, isn't it?
Beautiful fish.
Look at that. Oh, lovely. Wow, that's great, mate. Awesome, bro. So there's something to be said about these soft baits that we've got. Definitely a very cool way of catching them. And he's going to let it go now. And it went back no worries, that one.
Yeah, beauty.
And the fish just kept on coming.
And Herb's now just caught another one. Pretty cool. Pretty cool to see.
A bit hard now with the waves with my kayak. Whereas
Yeah.
you guys with the paddle kayak. I envy you guys, honestly. I gotta paddle and try to fish at the same time. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not the easiest. This is where the pedal power certainly comes into its own, isn't it, Herb? There you go, there's Herb's fish. Another nice little rainbow. Beautiful. Herb's at a bit of a disadvantage compared to us. The old weather's chopped up a bit now, and like we're paddling into the wind and sort of holding ourselves, whereas Herb's got to set himself up for a drift, and then basically, you know, he's got to do a drift and then paddle back up, so it takes a bit of an effort for him. So he's very envious of us in the pedal power.
Absolutely.
Alright, so I decided I'd sort of try out the fly jigging for a change. You know, I've proven that the soft baits are successful, and whoa, there we go, doing a bit of a jump, this fish. And I hooked one on the jig. So yeah, be interesting to see what colour fly this took. This is my first fish using the jigging technique with a fly. 3 flies on board, and this is one of Pat Swift's flies sets that he makes for jigging. And yeah, it looks like a pretty good fish too. Awesome. They go nuts when they come up, you know. Once they get up to the surface, they certainly put a little bit more heat on, you know. Very visual fish, much like kahawai, you know. They'll do a couple of jumps. This one's just done a couple of jumps out the side, and yeah, just bringing it in nice and slowly. You've got to really take your time. Oh, great fish. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this one. He's coming in sideways now. I think he might have got wrapped up in the line actually, so let's get him up and get him in the net. And this is the thing with these flies, you can't rush it. Light line, little hooks, and yeah, not unhappy with this trout. There we go. Sweet. Come on board, and you've got to be careful. There's quite a few hooks in this, so you've got to watch it. I've got a jig on the bottom. Yeah, he's definitely rolled himself up into the line, the bugger. So let's free him up, and we'll get him gone back, released again. There's that fly in the mouth, if I can show you that. He's pretty feisty. There we go, the hook just came out. That's what I caught him on, that little one there, that green colour there with the red on it. And let's get him out. Beautiful looking fish, you know, great patterns on them. There we go, look at that, lovely. And down he goes, hopefully. They come up really quickly, obviously, so no, he's gone down. It looks like. I can't see him back up on the surface or anything, so he went back really well. And here we go, we have Alfie hooked up now. Very nice. This one's done a bit of a big...
No, she's gone.
Oh no!
Yeah, she's dropped it.
It's gone a bit quiet this afternoon now. And this is trout fishing sometimes, you know, it can't always be full on. Sometimes they're on and sometimes they're not. But we're waiting this out. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon, and you know, I've pulled one on the jig flies so far, jigging. Soft baits for me have been the best I've had today, but I am more suited to that style of fishing, the soft baiting. Although, you know, micro jigging, I still reckon tonight I've got some changes to make for tomorrow. So anyway, still early afternoon, you know, we've still got a little bit of time left before we're going to go home and retire for the evening. And I'm feeling pretty tired actually. Old Herb, he likes to keep us up talking. He's a man of lots of information, and he kept us up last night till about midnight. We got up about 5 o'clock this morning, so starting to feel a bit jaded from it all. Anyway, a few fish on the line, that'll soon wake me up.
No more excuses, no more advice. It's fucking useless when all that's left is pain.
The fishing slowed in the afternoon even further, which brought out a whole lot of banter between the lads, and Alfie decided he had to take on a challenge, offering a nearby boat some trout for dinner.
And just in case he can't deliver, I thought I'd better hook one.
And he did.
Herb was just saying that Alfie had promised this lady over here in this boat a fish. And what do you know? It would take Mr. Herb Spanigal to deliver too, and he's a man of his word.
Yep. Just take it nice.
You know, and I was just saying how things have gone a little bit quiet on it, but there's still always that fish somewhere that will get on those flies.
Now, I'm actually stoked, having talked you into this venture, that we are lucky enough to be able to enjoy a day like today.
Oh, it's been amazing. Oh, it's been pretty special actually, and you know, it's not like there's been a lack of fish either.
No.
That's for sure. But I'm keen to catch some more, but I've got some changes to make for tomorrow. I've got a few ideas in my head about some things. 16th trout, there you go. See, we lose count, you know. I kind of thought I'd probably got about 10 today, so it's probably more than that, but Herb's counting number 16. And that lady over there, she's got a fish for dinner.
Patience has paid off. I'm into one. Just sitting there talking to Damien, you know, this is a great thing about doing what we're doing. Well, wow, this is a goodie, Damien. Woo-hoo-hoo. This thing's going ballistic. Awesome. It just did the big jump. Fantastic. It ain't over yet. It ain't over till the fat lady sings, as they say. But here we go. It's coming in. Jeez, it's really spent itself quickly. There we go. Woo! Oh, this is a good one. Nice. Man, it's going nuts in the cockpit of my kayak. There we go. Nice eating sized trout. Look at that. Damien and I are going to be taking some of these home tomorrow and putting them in our smoker because they smoke up really beautiful. Herb tells us that at this time of the year they are really, really fat. You know, and when you smoke them up, all the fat drips out of them and that. So there we go. Lovely fish.
Alfie's finally in. He's been promising all these fish,
Yeah, well,
and we've delivered for him, and now it's his turn.
I promised this lovely lady I'll catch you a fish. I've actually done everything but, and now it looks like we've actually got a double hookup.
We've got a bob each way.
The question is, who actually hooked the fish?
I think he did.
It looks that way.
He got him.
Well folks, that is a good fish.
It's a nice fish.
And this lovely lady over here, this is going to be gifted to her because she's been struggling all day to catch something to take home for the pot. So she's taking this home.
Sweet.
So thanks ladies and gentlemen. It's been a big effort to catch this one. We've had the team on this for the last 3 hours, and this is the This is the lucky fish.
And look at the spot we're in.
And
Paradise.
what a beautiful spot.
And
I
these
actually
guys
saw this-
over here have been extremely lucky today.
And this
It was certainly awesome to share in the success that we were enjoying, as well as good company. And Damien's into one straight after. The fish are coming on pretty thick and fast for all of us now. We're going from one person to the next here, capturing footage. But yeah, awesome fun. I mean, these guys are coming on board. When they get on these fish, they really get on. So slippery buggers though, eh? And they're always jumping around and causing havoc on the deck of the kayak. They're just full of beans. Trying to grab hold of them is always a bit of a challenge, isn't it, mate? Look at that. Another great fish for Damien. Awesome. And back she goes. And in again. This must be at least my 12th or 13th trout today. And they're all fairly good trout too, the ones I've caught, so it's been excellent. I am really enjoying this style of fishing. It's a great challenge. You know, now I'm fishing the jig flies. For me, it's not quite as active as the soft bait fishing. With using that little Berkeley power bait, I was moving that up and down the water column quite a bit more, and that was a lot of fun for me, being a soft bait fisherman on the salt water. But this is certainly fun too, especially that last fish I caught. I don't know what size this one is, but it feels not too bad. It's pulled a little bit of line. And there we go. Not as big as the last one, but still, nothing wrong with that. There we go. Beautiful little fish. Awesome. Look at the colours on that. You know, it's really red. When they get like that, that indicates that they're getting close to spawning. So we'll get this guy back. And another fish hook, another fish on for Alfie this time. Reckons it's got a little bit of weight to it. We'll soon find out. Just got to take your time with these fish. Play them out nice and slow. The guy on the boat before we had next to us, he got a nice fish on and the rod dipped down, but too much drag and he got broken off. And that's part of the key, just to take your time, no rush. It's not like, they're not like kingfish. They're not going to dive for the bottom and bust you off. These guys tend to swim upwards. And there we go. Just hit the surface. See that? Just nice control. Take your time. Make it all happen. And ease it into the net. Beautiful.
It is a nice fish. Here he is. Just let it go there. Go on.
And the trout just kept on coming. Herb's hooked himself another one.
Ooh, ooh.
And it's a pretty nice looking fish actually.
That was a big hit. Just
Yeah?
whoom, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, look at that. And then he came up, he basically almost,
Zoomed up at speed, eh?
yeah. Look at that. That's,
Beautiful
that's
fish.
a nice one.
Very nice.
Huh?
Pretty tired too by the looks of him. He
Well, he took
went
off,
nuts, eh?
had a big run, and then he came to the surface and said, I want to meet you. I want to go home. He just look at that.
That's a great fish. Absolute stonker.
That would be a good 7 pound at least.
Yeah, good 7 pound trout. Nice. And now we've got another fish on. While I'm just talking to Herb, I just hooked up. And we're just talking about the social side of this sport. You know, we're sitting here talking to these people on the boat and hooking fish, and yeah,
This is a nice fish. Another nice one.
Jigging for trout using flies was certainly proving to be effective in the afternoon, and I was enjoying lots of challenges pulling these fish up. Getting them in the net sometimes proved challenging, but the easiest part was actually the technique used in catching these, which involved dropping this fly jig down to the depth that the fish was sitting at. So you needed to use your sounder, and all you do then is let it sit there and move the kayak around a little bit with the odd occasional lift of the rod. Herb the bloody legend is doing it again.
He just doesn't want to come up.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, nice. Still catching them out here. Getting later in the day now. About 7 o'clock. Good bite time, yeah. We're all expecting to catch a few. We all want 1 or 2 more before we leave and go home.
Oh yeah, that's a chunky.
Jigging with flies all day, Herb certainly showed us how it's done. He even ties his own flies, then makes up the jigs. Herb's experience with this type of fishing really shone through, and not only was he more consistent at catching trout than us, but also landing way more fish. And here we go. The old master is into it again. We're just sitting there talking about this, actually, in our little meandering while we're having a bit of a play and waiting for the next trout to get on. And it's a healthy fishery in the Rotorua district and on Lake Rotoiti, with tens of thousands of trout released into the lakes every year thanks to Fish and Game, who manage this fishery and enjoy them. And it's a great job that the Fish and Game have done too, with the breeding program.
Managers here.
Yeah.
And they're nice guys, and they're all fish, you know. They're not sort of bureaucrats. They're all outdoors people. They fish, you know.
And that's the thing about it, you know. There's a whole system in place here that's working for fishermen and people into the outdoors, and to be able to come and catch fish like this is just awesome.
Go, yep, he's gone.
Beautiful.
Spinning his way down.
Another successful capture for Herb.
That's 22.
22 today.
22.
He's at least 7 or 8 above me. What a day it had been, and with the light fading, it was soon time to head back to our accommodation for the night. But we were hopeful for tomorrow.
Alright, day 2 of our trout adventure, and it's our last day here before heading home, and we had an awesome day yesterday. Caught a truckload of trout, really, you know, and today things are a little bit different. There's a bit more wind, but you know, in these pedal kayaks it's not a problem with what we're doing. But I'm looking forward to flicking some soft baits around again.
I am so used to calling these things soft baits, but in actual fact, the correct term for these types of baits are soft plastics. They are silicone and have no scent, which is what you must use when catching trout. As with sea fishing, it's important to match up what the fish are feeding on.
But what I'm using is this little smelt pattern here, you know. That was great yesterday. It worked really well. Perfectly matched to what they're feeding on in the lake here. So, yeah. So let's see what happens anyway today. We're probably going to fish about half the day and then go back. And so anyway, let's get out there and see if we can catch some more trout today.
Bit of a slower start to the day this morning, but Herb's already had a couple of smaller ones, and now it's Damien's turn. Nice. Trout are slippery to handle at times, and when Damien took his hand off this one, he left it unsecured. Self-released.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh well.
It's good.
I was going to let it go anyway.
Yeah. Been a bit of a slow start to the morning today. And this isn't anything to write home about either. It's just a small one, but got to start somewhere. Herb got another one. He's showing us young fellas how to do it today. It's a good fish too, going a bit ballistic beside the kayak.
Today was so different than yesterday, with the trout not biting and the wind getting stronger and stronger. It certainly made things tough for all of us to try and stay on top of these fish and track them down. With the trout not really biting and conditions worsening, we headed back to shore and changed our location. By the time we did this, for Damien and I, it was time to head back and get packed up and head home. Since this, I am heavily addicted to soft plastic fishing for trout. As we feature freshwater trout fishing in this episode, let's look at the finer points with Herb's Banagle on matching the hatch, which can be put to saltwater use as well, and also jigging with flies.
So Herb's got something here to show us. He caught a little smelt.
With the trout feeding on the smelt, no wonder my soft bait was working so well. Yet Herb was using something completely different, and that involved jigging with flies. Herb explains just what it is that makes his flies work so well.
And I have caught most of the fish on a fly that's got that olive colour,
Yeah.
you know, and it's got a bit of flash. Well, when you're matching the hatch, you're trying to imitate what they're feeding on. So you can see the back of this thing is olive green, and I have a selection of 3 flies. One of them is olive green, but it's also got the flash in it, just like that belly here, the flash. It's got the eyes. Well, the eyes have come off. I caught that many fish on it. The eyes have come off, and in comparison with the other things, flies that I've got, this one has got UV on it. Here's
Interesting.
right? This one's got UV and looks like a smelt, but it hasn't caught a fish.
Yeah, interesting.
Because the olive that
is matching that hatch, isn't it?
That smelt, see the back is olive here, and that one is olive.
It's exactly like it, isn't it? It's interesting. So and you know, we quite often go on about this even with soft baiting, don't we, Herb? You know,
yes.
Matching the hatch, same deal with the trout fishing.
So there's no point in putting anything else in other than what they've been feeding on. If you've got a fly that matches the hatch, you've got a much better chance of actually deceiving a trout than throwing some alien thing in there, you know, and getting them to say, oh, well, let's have a look at that one. But, you know, if they're feeding on something that is nice and pink,
that's what you've got to throw at them.
But in terms of colour, that one is too grey. That one has got the olive one. And this, the third one that I've got, and I have caught nothing on that. That is white.
Yeah, pure white,
pure white.
Interesting.
That's the sort of colour that was doing really well at Taupo.
Yeah.
But here it hasn't actually caught anything. See? It just doesn't.
Nothing like it, is it?
Doesn't do anything.
So we're just having a bit of a comparison now of the soft bait that I've been using, the Berkeley power bait, and Herb's got the smelt and that alongside it. And what do they look like together, Herb?
Well, almost identical.
And
right? So you basically you match the hatch. The size wouldn't worry me at all, because the size of the smelt here, I have caught smelt that were almost 3 times as long.
Can
You know.
vary so much, eh?
So I
Yeah.
wouldn't worry about the fact is that this
Is a slightly
Berkeley
bit
thing is
bigger.
slightly bigger, you know. But it certainly matched the hatch, you know. One of the exciting things about trout fishing is that you can actually tie yarn flies, you know.
Yeah,
It's
that's
another one of those branches that you can, you know, become very good at.
evolve into, isn't it?
And by the time you got them all together, you know, it makes this sport very versatile, very challenging, and you know, there's nothing better than to dream up what flies you tie, and you're trying to match the hatch, and then finally come onto the water and actually see the proof of it.
Very satisfying, isn't it? When it all comes together.
It's, you know, I'm not saying that everybody needs to tie flies, but this is another branch of the sport, you know,
Yep.
that you can develop quite a bit of expertise. Of course, if you haven't got the time, you haven't got the interest, you just go to the shop and leave it to the experts like Pat Swift.
Yeah,
you know.
which I've got some Pat Swift flies I'm going to drop down in a minute, Herb. So
He lives here.
Yeah.
He's the
He
guru,
knows.
the trout fishing guru, jigging guru. His flies, now commercial. You go in there and you buy various sets that, you know,
Yeah.
match the various hatches that, you know, come on, and you're okay, you know.
for more top fishing tips and techniques, head down to your local store and grab a copy of New Zealand Bay Fisher magazine. Special thanks to our sponsors. Outdoor Sports New Zealand provide the Old Town kayaks and Ocean kayak that get us to the action. Humminbird provides the technology that finds the fish. Railblazer customises our kayaks. Sharkskin protects the body against the elements. Neptune assists with the freediving, and Pelage captures the seafood. Jigstar rods fight the fish, and Zest jigs attract the fish.